Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on a really cool AK-47. Now, I know some of you may have clicked this video and might be expecting a very specific type of AK review. I know there's other reviewers out there that go roll in the dirt, do push-ups with these things, run them over with tanks, leave them out in the wilderness for days at a time, throw them in ponds and so forth to see if they can survive some obscene amount of rounds. Well, that's not the type of channel that I have. I am just an average gun guy, and I try to review guns from that perspective. Maybe you're in the market for an AK. You go to the gun show, go to the gun shop, pick up one of these. You just want to make sure, is it a quality AK? Is it going to run? Is it accurate? Is it reliable? Well, that's the type of review that I'm here to produce. So if you're looking for a different type of AK review video, this might not be the one for you. But with that out of the way, let's talk about this ZPAP M70 by Zastava. This is a very, very cool and very robust platform. And this particular rifle is on loan to the channel from one of my local fans and subscribers, Mark. Mark is an awesome dude, and I am honored that he allowed me to borrow this rifle for this review so I could make this content. I also want to thank all of my Patreons. As always, I can't believe that you guys think that my content is worthy of your support. You all keep the lights on around here. And of course, my primary sponsor for all of these range reports, Brownworks. Brownworks is a company that makes a lot of different types of custom wood grips for a wide variety of different firearms. I've talked about them many times in the past. I cannot speak higher of this company. And Mark, who owns the company, his craftsmanship and customer service. I know that he specializes in Beretta grips, Colt 1911 grips, and he also offers grips for a lot of guns that other companies may ignore, such as the Rock Island Armory 2011 style of guns. Another product that he has now on his website, if you're not in the market for grips and anything made of wood, and you like modern sporting rifles like the gun I have today, well, he is also providing a service for laser engraving of modern sporting rifle magazines. As you can see here, I have the Texas Gun Vault logo engraved on this magazine. So this is a PMag. I'm not sure if he yet offers AK mags from Magpul, but who knows, maybe he does. And he can do custom engraving on these magazines as well as any type of grip that he makes. So please go check out Brownworks. I promise you, he has a product that is going to enhance your gun collection and make any gun that you have something special, something that people are going to talk about. You will not be disappointed in all the products and the services that he offers. So if you are interested in checking them out and supporting the Texas Gun Vault through Brownworks, please tell them that the Texas Gun Vault sent you, and you can use the discount code that is in the comment section and the description to get 10% off of your first order. All right, so after thanking all of the people that make this content possible, let's talk about this rifle. This is the Zastava ZPAP M70. Now, I actually used to own a Zastava AK. It's been a while. I think I traded it for something else, and it was one of the early versions. I can't remember if it was the NPAP or the OPAP. They've always had these kind of different modern nomenclature for these rifles. And the M70, I think, is kind of the latest and what I think is the most authentic version to the M70 that Zastava makes. The thing about this gun that I like the most is that it does have a chrome lined barrel, where the models in the past did not. So I've had a little bit of experience with these. So let's talk about the things that I like and don't like about this gun. I've already mentioned one. It does have the chrome lined barrel. I think that is a huge upgrade compared to all of the guns that they have made in the past. This is also a very robust platform. If you shoot AKs, you're probably familiar with the size of an AKM, the standard stamp sheet metal AKs. Well, this gun's going to be a little bit bigger. The receiver is 1.5 millimeters versus the standard 1 millimeter receiver, and it just makes for a very robust design. It is also made by Zastava, and Zastava is a military contractor in Eastern Europe. This company has been making guns for militaries, and AK specifically, for a long time. So when you get a firearm from them, you know that you're buying from a company that knows what they're doing. I know in the AK world, when it comes to all of these startup companies, especially the ones here in the United States, often they get trashed. And maybe we don't really have a long history of making AKs here in the US. And I think some companies are doing a better job of that now. But if you're in the market for a foreign AK, well, you really can't go wrong with Zastava. They've been making them for a very, very long time. And so when you hold this and look at this up close, you realize this is a well-built rifle. It just feels solid, and you can tell that it was built by people that know what they're doing. Lastly, this thing does have a rail mount on the side, and that is really nice, and Mark here has equipped us with a SIG Romeo 5. So it's a great optic for this rifle, especially for the type of shooting that I'm going to be doing at an indoor range. Yeah, I can only shoot out to 25 yards. It's just what I had available to me when I filmed this range report. But now let's talk about a few things about this gun that I don't like. And when I say anything about AKs that I don't like, I know there are going to be those people in the comments section saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a complete moron. You're an idiot. They're going to say something silly like that. And that's okay, but remember what perspective I am making this range report from. It's really from a personal perspective. I absolutely love AKs. I think they are a fantastic platform. And just like when I review M4s or AR-15s, well, I'm going to like some and not like others, or aspects of some and aspects of others. And it's the same with this rifle. So the thing I don't really like about these Zastavas is the fact that since it is made on an RPK receiver, that bigger receiver, you can't really find furniture for these things. Now, I like this furniture set. I'm not really sure who makes it here. It says Archangel USA on the side, and I believe it is all the same, both the grip, the stock, and the forend. It's very attractive. I like that green color a lot. And so there are a few companies that make furniture for this, but AKs are not universal when it comes to compatibility across models and places of manufacture. In fact, when I owned my older Zastava, that was one of the reasons I think I traded it. It had a nice wood stock on it, but I wanted to change it out to something more tactical, and at that time, I just couldn't find anything. But this is a nice, attractive option, but if this is not the option for you, you might want to go in a different direction. But even this furniture, I think, has a little bit of limitation. The stock on this is fixed. It's not folding. It does telescope a little bit, but you don't get much of a change of length of pull. So if this is already too long for you, you're probably not going to like this. Another thing that this particular example has that I'm not a big fan of, and it's not really a big issue, but I guess being an OCD gun guy, it does bother me. The gas tube is a little bit loose. Now, not loose in that I'm worried it's going to come off. It's just the fit of this, it's a little bit wobbly. Some of my AKs have it. Some of them don't. In fact, I have an Arsenal M70 that has this exact same issue. There's people online saying there's a spring that you can add here, or you can adjust maybe by hitting the top of this and putting a little dent in the gas tube. It kind of tightens it up just a little bit. I'm not going to do any of that because it's not my rifle, but sometimes these can be a little bit wobbly, and it just makes it feel like it's not as solid as I would like it. But as I said, I know that's not really a big deal. It's just me being an OCD gun guy. Another thing that I did notice at the range, and maybe it has to do with either the receiver or the fact that when these are imported, they do have to be modified so they can accept double stack magazines. I feel like the mag well in this one is a little bit too tight. Now, I can get this magazine in there pretty good, and I've tried this with a number of different types of magazines, and see I'm having a little bit of problem there. So if I put it in, there it goes, it locks in. But that is really, really tight. And so I find that doing quick magazine changes with this is not as easy as other models. So it's kind of universal across every magazine that I did try. Now, I think in some ways, this is really nice because you don't get a lot of wobble. That thing is in there really, really tight. But quick magazine changes are a little bit harder, as you just saw. And this wasn't even under stress. And that's just kind of the way that is. Some people may like that, some people don't. I'd like that to come out a little bit easier. As I said, I tried it with a number of different magazines. That is just a very tight mag well, but it's no problem. It's not going to affect functionality. In fact, it might even make the gun a little bit more reliable because the magazine is not going to wobble at all. And finally, the last thing is the weight. Because it is that RPK receiver, it's a bigger gun, it's a little bit heavier than your standard AK. The one thing I don't like about AKs as compared to ARs is they are a little bit heavier, but they're not that much heavier. But then when you add a lot of weight like this, that if you're gonna run an optic or you're gonna have a light and laser combo on this thing, this gun could get quite heavy, and I can see that being a detriment to some people, especially if you're used to shooting lighter AKs or are coming from the AR-15 world. Well, I have talked enough about this rifle, so let's get this thing to the range. First, magazine through it. Let's see what happens. I can't wait to shoot this. I'm sure it's going to be super accurate. Every AK I've ever shot has been accurate, and I have never believed the myth that AKs are not as accurate as M16s or AR-15s, especially at closer range. Now, I only have access to a shorter range here. I'm just going to put the target out at 15 yards. I'm going to make sure this thing is running reliably and it can stay on target. So let's see if it does a good job. Alright, so this thing ran as reliable and was as accurate as I remember. As you can see, I just chewed away the center part of that target. And I have to say, for an AK trigger, and I don't know if Mark has changed this out or not, but this trigger in this gun feels really good. There's not really a lot of creep in it. Normally AK triggers, I think, are a little bit lackluster as compared to M16 or AR triggers, but this trigger seems to be really nice. The one thing I did notice, and I don't know if it's going to be a problem over time, is this thing definitely loves to spit out the brass. My wife wasn't standing far back enough, but if you notice, when this thing ejected the cartridges, it was going very fast, very strong, and sometimes even in an upward direction. Sometimes I would see it bounce off the side of the stall and go into the lane. It was a very powerful ejection. I like that in the way that it gets all the cartridges out of the way and out of the action as fast as possible, but that might be the sign the gun might be slightly over-gassed. But it's running reliable, so I'm not really going to complain. All right, so let's move on to what I call the accuracy portion. And it's not really accuracy in that I'm going to bench rest this thing and try to hit a target at 100 yards or 300 yards. I just want to see if offhand, and I'm going to shoot this kind of fast because honestly, this is a fun gun to shoot, just to see if my group opens up at 25 yards, which is as far out as I can put the target. So I'm sorry if you want to complain about that, that is on you. But I'm going to go for the head on this IDPA target. As accurate as this thing was through the first magazine, I have high hopes and expectations it's going to do well here. I really should have taken my time on that. It was still super duper accurate, but I can tell you, shooting this gun, well, the weight does bother you after a while, especially if you're trying to take your time. So bench resting this probably would have been the better way to go, but the accuracy of this rifle is top notch. I am so impressed with this. Such an easy gun to shoot, such a fun gun to shoot. So I really didn't take my time, but I'm gonna take that grouping at 25 yards, no problem. These sights are right on. This SIG Romeo 5 is excellent. He has it zeroed in, and it's a great combo for what this rifle is. So I'm happy with its performance and happy with its accuracy. It's just getting a little bit hot up here in the front and a little bit heavy. So if you're gonna take your time shooting a bigger magazine through, it's like 30 rounds, you might kind of feel it in your left hand a little bit. Well, if you're right-handed, you guys know what I'm saying. Just a heavy rifle, but that's a pro and a con, depending on how you're looking at it. Well, I want to give my wife, Becky, a shot. She actually likes AKs a lot, but she's never shot one that's this size, the Zastava. So I'm curious if she's going to feel a difference in the weight and the construction of this. So let's give her a magazine and see how she does. All right, so she told me she really liked it. She said it was very soft recoiling, which by the way it is. And I think a lot of that has to do with the weight, and that is the pro of the weight. But she did say it was heavy and she got a little bit tired. She's used to shooting lighter AKs. All of my AKs, for the most part, are AKMs. I don't really have a lot of milled receivers. I think I have one, but for the most part, they're all pretty light. And this is a pretty heavy AK. But she liked it. She thought it was very accurate. So no complaints from her. Well, I know you guys are going to want to see the obligatory mag dump. Now, I've been taking this gun kind of slow. It's gotten a little bit warm up here in the front trunnion, and of course, I don't want to damage the gun by getting it too hot. But doing one mag dump I don't think is going to hurt it, and this gun being so much fun, it's just asking for it. So here you go. So the only things that I can say about this gun are positive ones. This gun is accurate, it is well built, and most importantly, from the perspective of this channel and this particular shooter, this gun is a lot of fun. I also like the fact it's as close as I can get as a civilian to the real M70. I love that. I love the fact it has the chrome lined barrel. I can get over a lot of the cons that I've mentioned. I'm sure there's companies out there now that make a lot more furniture options for it than when I originally owned a Zastava, but I have to say I'm very, very impressed with it. It's not my favorite AK that I've ever shot. I think that my Arsenal SAM-7R might be my favorite AK overall. But this one feels solid, it's accurate, fun to shoot, and for me the biggest detriment is just its size and its weight. For only 7.62 by 39, it might be overbuilt, but that might be a huge pro. The guns are already going to be reliable. After all, they are an AK, right? They are known for reliability. And when you make them so robust like this, I mean, I really think this thing could probably take a nuclear blast and survive it. It is just that well built. But when it's that big and robust, you're going to have a lot of extra weight. And for some people that might be looking for a light loadout in their tactical rifle, this might be a little bit too heavy. But overall, I have absolutely no complaints about this gun. In fact, even though I have a couple things about it I'm not a big fan of, as I said, problems with changing the mags out really fast and maybe the furniture, the performance of this gun exceeded my expectations. So this is going to be one of those range reports where I went into it thinking, I'm definitely going to like this thing, but I didn't know I'm going to love it as much as I do. I really do like AKs, and I know people accuse me of not. And that's not the case. In fact, this AK really makes me think I should be on the lookout for one of these ZPAP M70s because I really like it. Very nice, heavy barrel, just a little bit on the weighty side, but a lot of fun. And I think that is the most important thing. So I think if this is a tactical rifle that you want for home defense, it's going to work great. If you want just a modern sporting rifle to take to the range and have fun, it's also a great option. So for me, I think you guys know where I'm going to go with this review. It's going to get 5 out of 5 stars. Yes, as I said, I have a couple of complaints, but after shooting it, it's so much fun and it's so accurate. So I think that is just going to supersede any issues that I have, and I have to go, wow, this thing is just a freaking awesome rifle. And I like how it's set up with this green furniture. So let me give you a close-up one more time of this awesome rifle. So thank you so much, Mark, for letting me borrow it. This thing is awesome and has rejuvenated my appreciation for the Zastava brand. So there you go. My thoughts, opinions, and experiences with the Zastava ZPAP M70. Do you guys own one of these or one of the other Zastava products? I would love to know in the comment section below. And do you like them as much as I like this rifle? So, as always, thanks for watching.